Hello Rianna, thank you so much for being with us today and welcome in Tonalité de Femme. So first of all, tell us everything about your most funny experience on TV as a weather woman presenter.
Now, being a weather presenter, that's going back a long time because I've been in television, well, for in excess of 15 years really, and the weather was my first big time television programme. I had done programmes that were more specialist on television, but this was London-wide. It was a much bigger gig in terms of profile and in terms of money and so on and so forth. And really it was my first weather broadcast that was the funniest, because I was very young, you know, and very green, and so I just got really scared. So my first experience was on the weather, and you know, so they said, here you go, here's Rianna Scipio with the weather. And I was like a rabbit in the headlights. I was like, you know, and I sort of said, you know, and the wind came up from the northeast and then it kind of goes across and it was so abrupt, and somebody, a friend of mine afterwards, was killing herself laughing. She said, you know, the way you went up and it's up there, it was, you know, so it was just pitiful actually. And one of the journalists of the day, who, I don't think he works anymore, I don't see him anymore, but he used to review all the television programmes. He said it was so bad that on rare occasions he actually offers pity to people. So terrible. Luckily I survived it, but you know, it's really important to be able to say you started somewhere, and it's not the mistakes that you make, it's how you recover from those mistakes. And I made sure I came back and really slammed it.
Rianna, how did you start your TV career, and why did you decide to stop being so busy at the time you were so successful?
I started my television career really, I was always interested in broadcasting, as I started in radio, what we call pirate radio, which was illegal radio. Somebody who had actually then went on to start one of the biggest urban radio stations in London, said to me, look, you know, you're really good on radio and you look good, why don't you give TV a go? So I did. I applied for a research post from one of the newspapers, and I sent in a photograph and I sent in a really confident letter just saying, look, I have no formal experience, but I just talk to anybody. I love to talk, I love to communicate, I really love to you know, interview people basically and meet people, and so maybe you'll consider me. And I got a really great professional headshot done. I made sure that I looked like I was in the role already. And they wrote me back and they said, well, look, you're not trained and you don't have a degree, which I didn't have a degree. So we can't offer you the post because you're competing with people who are more qualified than you. But we really, really like your application. And we really like the look of you, and we would like to create a post for you. So I thought, okay, yeah, you know, that's kind of like, don't call me, we'll call you. And a year later, I'd kind of almost forgotten about it, and a letter came through the door with that wonderful logo, BBC, on it. I was very successful on screen for many, many years actually, done lots of mainstream programmes like Watchdog, Holiday, UK's Worst, Watchdog Value for Money, all of the really flagship programmes, and Black Britain, which was fantastic, from news and current affairs at the BBC. And at the height of my career, I had 2 children, I was a single parent and 2 young children, and I did have a great support system in their grandma, but I realised that I didn't really know where they were. You know, I was so busy going in and out the door like a revolving door. Sometimes I'd have them on relay, you know, with people looking after them. And I remember one day I actually forgot where they were. You know, I was like, okay, who's got my children now? You know, kind of which person's got them? And then also I was up in the middle of the night to go to a shoot, and I remember my son getting up. He was very young, he was about 2, and he was sort of rubbing his eyes in the middle of the night, and I had to get him someplace to go because I couldn't afford to have live-in care. And he just said, Mummy, where are we going today? You know, and I just thought, I can't do this to my children anymore. And it really was an epiphany moment for me, and a moment when I just decided, look, I want to be a stay-at-home mum. And it was a big decision, because when it comes to balancing personal and professional life, nothing is simple. It's not clear cut. It's not like you go, okay, well, I'm never going to do that again. I don't want to do that. But if I'm honest, my oldest child, my daughter, I had spent very little time with her in her infancy. I didn't see her walk, I didn't see her cut her first tooth, I didn't see her do any of those things. And I really, really wanted to experience that with my son. I didn't want somebody else. Actually, I used to feel jealous of their grandma and other people who saw that before I did. They'd phone me up at work and say, hey, you know, baby's walked or whatever. And I wanted to experience that. I've realised that my son would be my last child. And I wanted to know what babyhood and infancy was like. So it was a choice that I made. And I think those building blocks were very important for me to establish with my children. Not least because I lost my own mum very young. I was 16 when she died and 14 when she became disabled through a stroke. And I became her carer for those years, between 14 to 16. And then she went, and it's been a fair, long time since I've seen her, or will see her. And I often wanted to know my mum better. I did know my mum, but I always have in my mind, actually, what if time isn't there for us? How would I want my children to know me? In fact, I want them to know me as I did know my mum, because she was very open, a very free spirit, and very, intimate with us as children. And I wanted them to really know their mum on that level. I think my passion and my determination, my energy for work definitely comes from my own childhood, because they were very, very hard years and very tough years. And I do believe that adversity, that hardship, especially in early years of whatever kind, really shape leaders. It makes me unafraid in a way, and I think courage is key.
Thank you so much, Rianna, for this beautiful interview. Thank you.
Thank you.